I don't think that if the Norwegian or any government recognize a Palestinian state, it will actually promote peace and help us get to sort this conflict. The peace and this conflict should be arranged only by the Israeli side and by the Palestinian side. And when the Palestinian side stop electing a terrorist organization to lead them, then we can actually talk about having a peaceful conversation between us and them. And yes, I'm saying it as an Arab from Israel, as an Arab who knows exactly who are the leaders of the Palestinian people, whether it's the Palestinian Authority who pays terrorists, or whether it's Hamas, who is an actual terrorist organization recognized by countries such as the United States, Britain, and other countries in Europe as a terrorist organization. So basically what the Norwegian government did is the Norwegian government effectively recognized a Palestinian state head by terrorist leaders. What a shame.
Do you believe in a two-state solution?
You know, I'm so happy that you asked this question. Ask the Palestinians if they believe in two-state solution before you ask Israelis, because the Israelis are willing. They were willing to go for a two-state solution. Ehud Olmert gave up more than 97% of the West Bank, gave up 4% of Israeli land, gave East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. This is not me saying this. This is not even the Prime Minister of Israel saying this. This is Bill Clinton saying it before, and then after that, the current leader of the United States back then in 2007, with Ehud Olmert in charge. So we have multiple presidents in the United States saying that Israel was willing to do that, yet we never reached peace, despite giving the Palestinian East Jerusalem as capital, despite giving them the West Bank, 4% of land of Israel, Gaza, connecting to the West Bank. They got everything that they wanted, and they still said no. You know why? Because they do not want a two-state solution. I will just recite what the protesters are saying. We only have one solution, Intifada revolution. That's what they want. Or we don't want two states, we want all of it. Or from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Why you keep asking Israelis if we are willing to do or going to a two-state solution, while the Palestinians themselves are declaring we want to destroy Israel, we want only one state, which is Palestinian state. So I'll tell you what, the moment that the Palestinians start educating their kids from age 4 to age 18 not to kill Jews and Israelis, not to destroy the state of Israel, then come to me and ask me if I'm willing to discuss a two-state solution. Up until that point, they're the ones who want to kill us, not us.
What do you think about the peace agreement? Are you optimistic, or?
If we want peace in the Middle East, Western people need to understand that they have no idea what's going on. They do not understand about the Middle Eastern mentality. They don't understand about my mentality. As an Arab who lives in Israel, as someone who knows my country, knows my society, and also knows the Palestinian society in Gaza, and knows the Palestinian society in the West Bank, and knows the Arab world in all the Arab countries. You white Norwegian or white European, come to me and tell me how should I live my life, and how should my country run itself, or how we should run our country in the Middle East. Come on, especially those who have never been in one day in Israel or even in the Middle East. So first of all, I would say, butt out. If we want peace in the Middle East, stay out. Let us manage it. That's one. Second, the only way that we can achieve peace in the Middle East and peace with the Palestinians is by strength and force. This is the only way. And I'm not speaking about strength and force against every Palestinian. Of course there are innocent Palestinians. I'm speaking about the terrorists and their supporters. To them, only by force, only by destroying terrorism, making sure to dismantle it until the last one of it. And then we can start talking about peace and see peace. And by the way, you know what's so sad? It is sad to see that people are calling to free Palestine, to free Gaza, but they're calling to free Palestine and free Gaza and not calling where it should be freed from. It should be freed from Hamas. It should be freed from the terrorists. Because mark my words, if you think that they're only terrorizing Israeli Arabs and Israeli Jews, no habibi. They are terrorizing Palestinians who want just to live in peace. They are the ones who first got hurt. And you're actually defending Hamas, who hurt Palestinians more than they hurt Israelis. Shame on you. So yes, I am optimistic about peace, but only peace that comes from force and from strength, where we dismantle terrorism.
Do you think that Hamas will have any role further on, or in the future, Hamas in Israel or in Gaza?
Let me be clear. There is no future in the Middle East where Hamas stays in power. Mark my word, it will happen. Today, we are seeing some interesting footages from Gaza. We're seeing Hamas demonstrating as they are the power. This is how can I call it? Just a circus, a theatric circus. Mark my word, Hamas will not lead the Palestinian people. Mark my word, Hamas will not stay in Gaza. You have this recorded here. See you in the future.
So who should be in charge in Gaza?
Well, if it's up to me, I will tell you that Israel, by force and strength, where it comes to the Palestinians and tell them you have two options. Either you fight us and then you will see our force and you will see how can we resolve that military, because we've proven that we can do it, or peacefully we can decide together to rehabilitate Gaza. Then after that, giving you step by step your rights and your control of the Gaza Strip, and you lead your own people, where we, the Israelis, and you, the Palestinians, live side by side, recognizing that we are not going anywhere. So if that happens, then for sure, leaders, local leaders who already suffered after the 7th of October and knows the force of Israel and knows the result of attacking Israel by terrorism and what will happen to their own people. So I believe that the leaders of the tribes and people who understand and know how Gaza is, there are multiple tribes. Every neighborhood, every zone in Gaza is split to tribes, and there's a head of a tribe. So if the head of the tribe knows exactly what the best for its tribe and for its people, they will know that they need to control Gaza themselves, unite a uniform, to unite a sort of a parliament from all those head of the tribes, and then to collaborate with the Israelis. Of course, add to that I would like to see an extended Abraham Accords with Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries joining and be part of the Abraham Accords and be part of the Middle East, of the new era in the Middle East. All this can bring us to actually think about peace. But until that, we need to destroy terrorism.
Okay. What is the role of Donald Trump in this?
It's a very important role, because, I can explain it by this. Back then when Barack Obama was the president of the United States was very weak in the Middle East. But get this, they loved Barack Obama. They did not respect Barack Obama. Coming back to Trump, they hate Donald Trump, but they fear him, and that's why they respect him. And this is the mentality of the Middle East. Hear it from someone from the Middle East. I know it's hard for you guys to listen to that because you think you know everything, but you don't. You have no clue. So I'm telling you, this is the reality. And if Donald Trump, what he promised is to make sure that terrorism will be destroyed, and he will bring hell to anyone from the Middle East who goes and uses terrorism as a technique to destroy their opponents. And therefore, if he keeps his promises, and if Donald Trump really wants peace, he will make sure that, one, extend the Abraham Accords, and I'm positive about that, destroy Hamas and other terrorist organizations, and I'm positive about that, and of course, make sure to bring peace from force and strength.
What is the role of media? How does media impact public opinion, do you think, in Europe? Norwegian media and others?
You know, when you speak about the media, especially in Europe and obviously in the Western world, I'd like to divide this answer to do, because you have the Western media and you have then the Arab media, especially Al Jazeera, which continuously lie after time about what's really going on. And it's easy for you guys to come and say, well, Youseph, you are an Arab who are pro-Israeli, loves his country, patriotic, and I am. So why should we believe you? If you say that, and you disregard the hundreds, if not thousands, of videos coming from Gaza, talking about Al Jazeera, and talking about the commentators on Al Jazeera, how they are lying, how they are actually suffering, while Al Jazeera says that Gaza is in a good condition, how the fighters in good condition, and the people in good condition, and that they are surviving. And then they come and they upload videos on TikTok and say Al Jazeera is lying, don't listen to them. It's not me saying that, it is Palestinians who are saying that. So you don't want to believe me, I understand. You know, in a way that you say, okay, I'm a pro-Israeli, fine. But what do you say to Palestinians who live in Gaza, who says exactly the same thing that I say? Now, after we put the Arab media on the side, let's talk about the role of the Western media. You failed. You failed big time. You failed big time because you adopted a narrative of a terrorist organization. Shame on you.
Is Norway worse than other countries, do you think?
Unfortunately, we cannot generalize everybody, obviously, but unfortunately, the Western media has failed. There are media outlets that actually manage to bring a balanced of situation in Gaza and in Israel, but the majority of the media literally adopted the narrative of the terrorist organization, including organizations like the UN, including organizations like human rights organizations like Amnesty International and others. And you add all this force together, UN, Amnesty International, Western media, add all of them to the same narrative, which is a Hamas narrative, which is a terrorist narrative, and we get the result that Israel cannot fight a terrorist organization because of you guys. But you know what? We never give up. You know, look at the bottom line. The bottom line is very simple. We destroyed Hezbollah. Until now, they are checking who are their leaders still alive or not. We made a revolution in Syria. Cut the supply of Iran to Lebanon and Hezbollah because of that. We managed to attack in the heart of Tehran, 2,000 kilometers from Israel. We managed to attack in the heart of Yemen, 1,500 kilometers from Israel. We had 7 fronts at one time. We managed to stay alive and survive. We, not because of your help, not because of the Western world says we have to save the only democracy in the Middle East. It's just because of us and the Israeli people and the IDF fighters, both men and women. Because of them, we are alive, not because of you. You only made it worse for us, more difficult for us to fight terrorism. Again, shame on you, but we don't need you. We will keep fighting terrorism until we win, and we will win.
How has the war influenced the relationship between Arabs and Jews in Israel?
In Israel,
yeah.
It made it only stronger. Arab Israelis 100% are against Hamas. And make my word, let me be very clear, very clear. We do not support terrorism. We actually hate Hamas. We condemn Hamas. We don't want ever to be living under a rule of a terrorist organization like Hamas. And in fact, this, the 7th of October, made the partnership between Jews and Arab much more stronger. But you know, I would have wanted to avoid the 7th of October. But if there is something that came up from the 7th of October, it shows the unity of the Israeli people. It showed that despite the fact that we're having conflicts between right and left, between religion and secular, and between Arabs and Jews, when it comes to terrorism, we are all united. And that's what we saw immediately on the 7th of October, and of course after that on the 8th of October, and from then until now. When the Israeli society is united, not even one single terrorist organization can beat us.